Hello, my friends. Hope everyone out there is doing fantastic on this beautiful sunny day. It's not that sunny. Just making sure I'm actually live here and not just talking to myself. Oh, I think we're good. I'm just going to pull this up on the old laptop here so I can keep track of the comments. If you are in the stream, come and say hello. Let me know if you can hear me loud and clear. I should be coming through though, I believe. Stoked for today's stream. It's all about positive music. We're tapping into the positive vibes for July. I know it's August, but this is the Academy's July challenge, which is writing positive music. I just kept it, pretty open-ended, not too crazy, not too specific. The challenge was just to write positive music, and with the hopes that it'll be licensable. And I got 14 tracks to show you guys today from the members of the Production Music Academy. All of it is mind-blowing and amazing. I'm so stoked. This challenge is again, the members keep blowing me away. It is just so cool. So in no particular order, I'm also going to show you one of my tracks at the end. I also wrote a track for this challenge. I didn't quite finish it. I'm at just at the finishing line, but I'll show it to you anyway. I hate showing people tracks of unfinished material, but got to partake in the challenge. So welcome to the stream. Alexandra's here. Hey, Alexandra, how's it going? We got a few people in here. Say hello. Don't be shy. Guzer's in the house. Welcome back, Guzer. Glad to have you back in the Academy, man. And stoked to feature both of you guys' tracks today. So yeah, in no particular order, I'm going to just pull from the challenge submissions list here. Alexander, we'll start with you since you're here and you're at the top of this list. Let's pull you in here. Yeah, we'll change. Hopefully that didn't mess with the sound. Yeah, it should be all right. Okay. Yes, I did. I received it. Thank you. Yeah, I got a couple of last minute submissions from both of you guys. And I wish I had a little bit more time to write some notes on it. I wrote a few little notes, but no, I'm so glad you guys got a track to me on time. Okay, we are listening to Alexandra's track here. This is called The Launch. Here we go. Very nice. Very, very nice. I'm going to turn off this fan. I don't know if you guys can hear this fan, but hopefully I'm not... There we go. That's better. Cool. Yeah, like a more of an orchestral sort of vibe on this one. It's really cool to hear you tackle that style. and definitely in the positive and sort of uplifting vein. So really well done on tackling this challenge. You got some really interesting processing on those like staccato strings. It almost sounds like there's like some kind of like tremolo effect on it possibly, which is really interesting. Yeah, almost had like like sort of a dreamy orchestral quality, but also really powerful. The transition effects are really pronounced throughout the track, which I think gives it, you know, that sort of explosive and dramatic energy, which I like. I think like maybe in some parts, like the white noise risers and stuff could have been dialed back just like a little bit. There's some areas where I felt like the transition energy was almost too much. But not in a big, you know, not a big deal. I was gonna say that the one thing that I sort of stuck out to me is that in the very climactic parts of the track, I'm not sure if it's maybe like the low sub hits, like the sort of trailer hits, which sound really cool, but I felt like in the most intense parts of the song that it might be like squeezing the bass out of your mix a little bit. It might be fighting with the bass a little bit, and I thought that in that, you know, climactic section, the bass, I wanted to hear like more like melodic bass energy. So I thought maybe there could be room for some like lower register orchestral stuff in there, maybe some like bass and like cello, like, you know, low end, just to supplement the bass that you already have in there. But that was like, yeah, that was my one, like, I guess, feedback point for this track. But I really liked it. It was really cool to hear. I know you write a lot of electronic music, and this is something that's sort of, you know, in a totally different vein. So it was really, really cool to hear you branch out into this orchestral realm. Well done. Well done. I'm just going to make sure I'm keeping up with the comments here. Who's in the house? John, welcome, man. Dan's in the house. Awesome. Velocity, okay, gotcha. I'll use the sub hits for my free pack. Excellent. Very cool. Well, thanks for using those. And welcome everyone else who's in here. Yeah, let's keep it moving. Who's next? Thanks again, Alexandra. That was great. So just going back to my list here. Alex B. I'm not sure if Alex is here yet. He said he was going to be in the stream, so maybe we'll wait. I'll try to pay attention to who's in the stream here. And oh, I missed somebody. Axel, how's it going? Welcome. Guzer, we'll go to you next. Actually, I'll just delete these as I do it so I don't get lost. Guzer, where are you? Positive challenge. Here we go. Beautiful. Beautiful. Great work. And Guzer, officially, welcome back to the Academy, man. Great to hear your work. And and you killed this challenge. This is awesome. This is super positive, laid back, kind of breezy vibes. Definitely gives me like summer vibes over here, which is perfect. I mean, totally licensable. There's really not a lot of critical feedback for you here, except I do have one like very little thing that I noticed that could help. It's very subtle though. You have this this very slight chord tonal conflict going on. I think it's right, like there's a couple spots where you can pick it up here. And I think what's happening is that your acoustic guitar is hitting like a straight major chord, and then your piano is playing, I think it's like it's maybe a major sixth or a seventh. It's kind of hard to hear it, but it's obvious in two distinct points in this track here. You hear that? Right there, I think the guitar is just doing straight major and the piano is doing something else. And it also is apparent over here somewhere, I think I wrote like 154. So maybe around here. See that chord that the piano's playing there isn't a straight major. I can't tell what it is exactly, but I really like what that piano chord is doing. But I think that when you have that straight major chord being played by the acoustic on the one of the chord progression, there's some kind of tonal conflict there, which is really subtle. Again, not a huge deal, but just something I picked up on. So maybe something to, I don't know, to fix. But I mean, you could even have the piano play just like the straight major the first time around, and then go to the slightly more colorful chord the second time around. Just an idea. But man, yeah, great track. Good mix too. And super catchy. Yeah, I feel like this would do well on music libraries, man. Awesome work. Guzer says that was a hard challenge for me. Thanks for notice. I'll check that out. Okay, cool. Awesome, man. Who else is in the stream? We got John. We got Dan. Let's check out John's track. Okay, Guzer's done. Awesome. John, Beyond the Horizon. Let's check this out. Here we go. Enjoy. What a track, man. John mentioned a few things to me here about this track. He said, I've aimed for that sort of road trip / adventure Americana vibe, which he totally nailed, by the way. There was actually a taxi brief that fitted this track, and it's actually got a forward. Awesome. Congrats on that. Well deserved. I'm not surprised you got a forward for that. He also said, I employed some of the blending VST / real acoustic techniques in this. The main strummers are real, but there's a picked acoustic in there from Native Instruments doing a little arpeggio tucked in the mix. Great, man. Yeah, great job blending the real and the VST. It sounds excellent. The mix is really, really nice. There's a lot about this track that I like. Yeah, you nailed it on a lot of fronts. I do have a bit of feedback here for you. Yeah, let me see here what I wrote. I should also compliment the electric guitar parts in there, which are super, super tasty. I love that. It's funny that, yeah, I'm actually really vibing on this track because Artlist has commissioned a few tunes from me, which are very much kind of in this vein, a little bit more pop and like beat forward, and they want the like vocals in it as well. But the brief is actually called American Road Trip, and so I'm writing like a ton of material in this vein. And I shared one of those tracks in progress on the Academy just recently. But anyway, I'm getting sidetracked here. What did I write? I thought personally that there was a bit of room to explore that really tasty melody that you have in the chorus like parts in like the upper register somewhere, and you could have possibly there might be room to like layer a piano or like a celesta instrument, something in like a higher range to just highlight that super catchy melody you got in there, because I love the melodic choices that you're making, but I did want to kind of like hear it elevate a bit more. And yeah, one or two other very small little things was that coming out of this first chorus into your breakdown, like I felt like there maybe was room for like a bit of transition energy in there. Well, I don't know. Maybe not. There is like a symbol in there. I thought I would have liked to hear some kind of like gradual, cymbal swell or some kind of transition that was more of like a rising kind of thing. But I'm picking on you here. The only other thing I would point out is that the ending felt like slightly abrupt. But again, not a huge deal. I probably would have opted to end on the one chord for the progression, but it kind of adds something. It kind of throws a twist in there, which is kind of cool. And I mean, whatever, you got a forward, man. That's you succeeded in doing that, and I really hope that this track brings you some opportunities down the road, man. Thanks so much for sharing. Great stuff. Okay, thank you, John. And just going to cross you off the list here. And I believe we got Dan in the house. So I'm going to bring Dan Vandervalk's track in here and give this a listen. This one might be a bit on the quiet side, so I'll do a volume adjustment if it's too low. You know what, I'll just bring the gain up on here. Awesome. Okay. Great track, Dan. I'm trying to like, I don't know, get the genre right on this. Maybe sort of like a corporate folky sort of take on I mean, I don't know, it's hard to like describe it exactly. Maybe almost kind of like indie, because it has that sort of rock feel with the real drums to it. Awesome track. Dan mentioned to me that this is actually a remix of like an old Audio Jungle track that he wrote roughly 2 years ago, and this is sort of a reworking of it, and in an effort to sort of like expand on some of the skills that you picked up in the last couple of years. Although I do believe you mentioned that you weren't super stoked on the mix and not feeling super confident about it. That's okay. As long as it's an improvement from the first time around, then it's a win, in my opinion. I think, what did I write here? I think I really like that you've got your own guitar work in the mix here, which, you know, definitely gives it some flair. And the track overall is, you know, feels super positive, which is the whole point of the challenge, which you nailed. So, yeah, you mentioned you weren't super stoked in the mix. My honest thoughts are that there's a few things in there that maybe just don't need to be there, or could be reworked in some way. Like, for example, you got in like the first 8 bars of the intro is like it sits really well, nicely for me. And then when the drums kick in, there's sort of things like get a bit overwhelming, especially with those little like synth pluck stabs that you have in there once in a while. Personally, I'm not sure if they totally need to be there, or maybe you could find some different instrumentation for them. They feel a bit abrasive, but also towards the end, like towards this whole section here, you might be suffering from like the too many ideas happening at once kind of thing. Like you have like a sort of, you know, distinctive guitar melody fighting with like that celesta type instrument that you're using for melody. And you got two kind of like ideas that are sort of fighting each other, I think, a little bit, and perhaps you only really need one. Maybe it's like a matter of simplification. It might be just a matter of just having too many things in there, and you can just kind of strip it back. I do tend to think that like the more simple, the more stripped back these kinds of tracks are, sometimes just the better they sound. That's my 2 cents. But otherwise, man, like the melody, the melodies are great, catchy, and you've got some great ideas in there. So well done. Thanks for submitting, man. Okay. Dan, thank you very much. Who's in the stream? Let me check the comments. Nathan. All right. Let's give Nathan's track a listen here. This one's called Happy Joe Lucky. Let's turn this down a bit. Awesome. Nathan, great job, man. And thanks for taking part in this challenge. I love the simple and the beautiful, composition and the execution of the ideas here. You mentioned that you tried to stay close to the brief, but may have veered off track somewhat by adding the ukuleles. But I'm not sure what you mean by that, because I think the ukuleles are totally fitting for for the vibe of this track, and I think they kind of are the heart and soul of the track. The ukuleles, it's all about that, and this type of track is like, I think it's still relevant in the licensing space. I still hear these types of like breezy, kind of stripped back folky tracks quite often in like advertisement material. And yeah, I don't know. I guess I had a few like random thoughts about the track. My thoughts were the synth pad that you have you introduced somewhere in the back half of the track. It's cool, but it's probably not necessary. I mean, I don't know if it totally fit the vibe of the genre. If I'm writing a track like this, I just tend to keep it like dead simple. It's not like you need like a ton of it's not like you really need a synth layer. I don't know. You could have gotten away without doing it, in my opinion. Not that it took anything away from the track, but anyway, I think the main melody, like the main ukulele melody, is possibly like a bit loud and forward in the mix, and you could have tried blending it with like a glockenspiel or something like that. Maybe just an idea. Also, my one other little feedback thingy would be that there's something that you could do with the bass line in there. The bass line felt like, like you could have explored something, going to some like the fifth, or something like that. Something a little bit more playful. I think there's a room to do that there. But yeah, man, this is great, and thank you for taking part in this, man. Awesome work. Cheers, Nathan. And by all means, guys, whoever's listening, feel free to throw your thoughts and comments on these tracks in the comments. Always good to hear from you guys, and let me know what you're thinking. Okay, so crossing Nathan off the list. I'm not sure if anyone else is in the stream, but if you are, come say hi. Otherwise, I will randomly choose somebody next. Let's choose Chad. Chad is one of the latest members to join the Academy, so welcome, Chad. Stoked to hear this track. I'm not even sure. I think there's a last-minute submission, but I'm not sure if I wrote too many notes here, but I'll try to think of something. To say. Okay, here we go. Yes. Love those lo-fi vibes. Uh, Dude, great job. And yeah, welcome to the Academy, and congrats on uh, your first challenge challenge submission. Awesome, dude. Okay, so Chad wrote me a little note here. Just followed along with the lo-fi hip-hop course, and I'm pretty stoked with how it came out. Sweet. Would love to hear your feedback. Also, just want to say I've really been getting a lot out of your content since discovering you on YouTube about a month ago. It's freed me up to start thinking a little bit differently about music creation. Thank you, and hope you're well. Dude, thank you. Great to have you in the Academy, and yeah, so happy to feature your music on today's stream. I wish I had a little bit more feedback. I think maybe... I mean, in terms of the vibe and the mix, it's really, really nice. It's super laid back, positive, and kind of dreamy and nostalgic, and obviously, you know, in the lo-fi vein. If I was to think of something on the fly in terms of feedback, first thing that came to my mind is that there might be some room for like a little bit like a bit more dynamics, like here and there. I mean, if just like looking at the waveform, you can see it's kind of like constant energy throughout the track, and I think that you could potentially look at just trying to create a few more edit points. And what I mean by that is like just some space in the track to break things down, and add a little bit more drama here and there. And that's the kind of thing that's going to probably make it a little bit more licensable in the, if you're thinking about putting this up on music libraries and stuff like that, because it's those kinds of, dramatic transition points that are really helpful for video editors. I'm talking about, filtering things out for like 4 or 8 bars or something like that. And then like bringing it back dramatically for the last chorus, that kind of thing. Just getting into the dynamics, digging a little bit deeper into that. I think that's where you could focus your energy next time. Other than that, maybe there was like a little room for some one shots, some like a little bit of vocal stuff, like some ear candy in the mix. Every now and then. In terms of the melody, like the choices are I'm vibing with them. It sounded great, and I think you got the gist of it. That's for sure. But yeah, I would try to maybe just work on creating a little bit more dynamic energy, a little bit more drama where you can. I know that's not sometimes like intuitively the vibe when you're writing lo-fi, but I think that will help with the overall licensability of the track. And yeah, important to sort of remember there's a distinction between the types of lo-fi tracks you're going to hear on like Spotify that do really well, and the ones that do well on music libraries and in the licensing space. So yeah, I think there's another lo-fi track that we're gonna check out here later that where I can sort of expand on those thoughts, but I'll leave it at that. Great stuff, Chad. Thank you so much, man. Awesome. Let me just check in with what's going on. Alexander says loved it. Sweet. Okay. Who is next? Let's go with Mr. Robert Barnes. Okay, I think this is actually a track he submitted for feedback through the feedback form, but I thought that it would work well for this challenge too. So Robert said I could feature it. Here we go. dude, killing it. Rob, yeah, I mean, fantastic sort of corporate vibes here. Obviously, super positive and uplifting. Very licensable, I would say. Man, I don't know. I'm struggling with like super pointed feedback on it. I do have some like more, I don't know, specific nitpicky kind of things that maybe I'll get back to you, because I know that you submitted this for personal feedback, which I will get back to you soon. I mean, I love this breakdown is fantastic. The arps and all the like this ambient kind of energy that you got going on the track is really, really nice. The instrumentation is all great. Broadly, there's something about the mix that I think there is some room to carve out somewhere, especially with all the ambient energy going on. Like there might be a little bit of masking with like some of the reverb that you're using here and there. Especially, I think it's especially noticeable when you bring in this like distinct melody right here. I'm not saying it's like it's too crazy or anything like that, but I wonder if there's, yeah, I mean, I'd have to kind of like look at the stems and maybe do like a little bit of carving here and there. There's some kind of resonance there that's kind of hard for me to define exactly, but there might be a little bit of carving that you could do to add a bit more clarity to the mix. But man, I'm not going to pick on you here. This is a great track, and I can't imagine any like stock library like turning this one down. I mean, this is definitely killing it on the corporate uplifting positive level. Really, really well done. And yeah, glad to feature your track today, man. Awesome. Thank you, Robert. Who is next? I'm going to feature Topher's track right now. I don't know if Topher's in the house, but I actually chatted with Topher yesterday. I'm going to post a little interview I did with him for the Academy members. And the reason for that is because I noticed that Topher's one of his tracks was trending on Motion Array last month. It was like up on the first page of like most popular tracks. It's not this track, but it was something that he did, and it just was exceptional. It was such a good track, and I had to know like what was going on behind the scenes there. So I did a little interview where I picked Topher's brains, and I'm posting that on the Academy as soon as I'm done this stream. Topher has just been killing it, man. He's been a longtime supporter of mine. Back, in the Patreon days, I think he was one of my OG patrons, and he has just gotten better and better and better. Every mix I hear him do, he's just like, he's improving. He works on stuff almost daily. He's a super dedicated dude, and it's a pleasure to feature his music. I don't think he's been super active with the challenges. I'm not sure if I featured him on a lot of the challenges, but on this one he pulled through, and man, yeah, check this song out. Great. Killer. Yeah. You know what I love about Topher's tracks is that he's not afraid to go after like really simple, simple ideas and execute them, very precisely. I think there, and I suffer from this as well. Like, I think that there's this tendency, this urge to just like throw too much stuff at the wall sometimes. And Topher's he's really, really good at just like having those like few simple ideas that can like come and go. And there's clarity. There's just a lot of clarity in the mix. And this is the kind of stuff that does well on royalty-free sites, straight up. It does well, and it shows that I've seen Topher's tracks, trending more than once on Motion Array, and there's a reason for it, and it's just that people are drawn to this, to these simple ideas that are done, that are mixed and produced effectively, and that's what he's gotten really, 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 really great at in the last couple of years that he's been really working this kind of stuff. So, He sent me a couple notes actually here. He said my go-to libraries / VSTs for this particular genre are Native Instruments Electric Vintage, Session Guitarist Strummed 1 and 2, the Grandeur for the piano, Firebird Plucks, classic, Rickenbacker bass, that's also from Scarby, I believe. And for the members, you see this interview, you're going to see a little bit more of this in detail, but he's also got this this great hybrid sort of vibe going on between like a rock kit and like orchestral percussion, and it's a really, really nice mix. He's using Damage for the orchestral percussive stuff, using intimate strings from Spitfire, which I believe is like that cheap $29 library. Which sounds awesome. Steven Slate drums, that's what he's using for like the kit. Vocal samples are a mix of arcade and splice, and I also have my go-to percussion samples / impacts from splice. Pads are usually from arcade or Spitfire. I also did something different with this track and tried this random contact choir instrument called Dave Choir. I have no idea what Dave Choir is. I have to check that out. But yeah, that sounded really cool. I'm definitely gonna have to check that out. His process always starts off with either guitar riff or piano chords. I love Vintage Eternity. That's the melody preset from Electric Vintage. I just got to dial back the delay to about 50 to 60%. Once I get those two down, I usually just try and build the chorus first. I'll add kick, snare, tom fills, strings, tambourine / shaker, acoustic, usually in that exact order. Cool. Awesome. Thanks for sharing your process, Topher. You wrote one other thing here. Once I have an 8-bar loop or a pretty solid chorus, I'll copy and paste a handful of times and then start structuring it out by taking things away for the intro and the bridge. That's exactly what I do. That's my method in a nutshell right there. Create the chorus loop it out, and start carving the arrangement from that. Awesome. Yeah, really happy to feature your work, Topher, and looking forward to posting that interview later today. Excuse me. Okay. Ninian. This is Ninian, also known as Frodo. I'm not sure if he's in the stream today, but super stoked to feature this track. Very, very cool track. It's called Comfort Zone. Here we go.
One good thing about music, when it hits you, you feel no pain.
Fantastic. Oh, I love that little outro there. Sorry, I shouldn't have been talking. I interrupted that vibey outro. Hey, Arco. Welcome, man. Glad to have you here. Frodo, thank you so much for a fantastic track. And Frodo left me some notes here. He said, I've decided to make a positive lo-fi track for this one as I still trying to fully wrap my head around this genre. I tried to keep the instrumentation minimal and stick to my references. I hope you like it. I do like it. My plan with this track is to publish it on Spotify and get it into some lo-fi playlists, along with selling it on AJ and Audio Jungle and Pond 5. I'll post an update on the Academy soon. Please do. Okay, cool. Man, first thought is like it's a huge improvement from the last lo-fi track you sent me. Not that last one you sent me for feedback was bad. I think, to be fair, that one was that I'm talking about is maybe somewhat in the electronic vein, but this type of positive, feel. I think that's one of the main points of feedback I gave you last time you sent me a track for feedback was that that the track you sent me was a little bit dark, and this is like the total opposite. This is like uplifting and positive. Obviously that's the challenge, but you killed it on the positivity level. And man, I gotta say the guitar work in this track is just fantastic. I love these little riffs that you're adding in here. That's so cool, man. Great job there. Yeah, this kind of stuff is going to do well on libraries. And, in terms of getting the challenge right, you got it. The one thing I'd say in terms of critical feedback is that I suppose that there's, and I don't know if this is actually the best feedback to give you, but I'd say that maybe there's room to push it more into lo-fi territory if you wanted to. I'm not saying you have, you should, but you could wash out the drums or the piano a bit more, put it through some RC20, Sketch Cassette, whatever your plugin of choice is, and really push it more into lo-fi territory, because it is kind of like hi-fi in a way. It's really crispy, the production is it feels kind of it doesn't feel super, like you're pushing it super hard into lo-fi territory. Not that that's a bad thing at all. And it's just kind of it's this weird discussion, because again, it kind of goes back to the distinction between the types of lo-fi you hear on Spotify that's really popular, which is often extremely washed out and affected. And then I think personally, the lo-fi I write for Artlist and Motion Array is a little less so. I'm taking it more into a pop territory by doing things like you're doing, which is adding really colorful transitions, with the chimes and the cymbal swells and stuff like that. That's a lot of kind of thing you don't actually hear that much in the more Spotify type lo-fi playlists. There's less of that sort of drama and that transition energy. So I'm not saying that this track couldn't exist on both a lo-fi playlist on Spotify and on Music Library, but certainly what you have here, I think, is going to do, it's going to be well suited to the licensing space, because you paid attention to some of that dramatic detail, like the transition effects and stuff. So yeah, well done, man. Well done. I'll leave it at that. Who's next? Thanks, Frodo. That was great. Let me just check the comments here. Okay. Alex B's in the house. Dude, perfect time. I'm gonna put your track up right now. Welcome. Always great to feature your music, and I am pumped on this track, man. This is a great track from Alex, and also in the kind of lo-fi territory, but a totally different flavor than Frodo's track, and you guys are gonna love this. Check this out. Hot damn. Dude, I love it. I love it so much. You know what I was thinking? Like when I was listening to this just now, I was like, I was on hold with my cell phone provider yesterday, and like trying to sort out like all sorts of, boring whatever. It doesn't even matter. And, sometimes they put you on hold for like 20 minutes. It's just so annoying. Why can't the hold music be like, why can't they play a track like this? I would be so stoked to be on hold with any company if this is what I was listening to. It's so good and laid back and like makes me feel relaxed, put a smile on my face. Totally killed the summer vibes here, man. I just want to like throw this on my car stereo and drive down to the beach and chill. That's what it makes me feel like. Honestly, Alex, this is my favorite track that you sent me that I've heard from you like ever. This is the top one. I think it's so good. I love the little details everywhere. Like I love this like little cassette, effect you got here at the beginning. And like you can actually hear like little cassette button push. That's so cool, man. I love the fact that you incorporated some like bossa elements into it. So there's like a Latin vibe in the breakdown and like underneath these like when the beat's not full on. Is it right to call it bossa? Would that be right? Like that kind of thing. That's such a cool flavor to add into it. And then the sort of like marimba-ish, like mallet type melody that you got in that you're using throughout the track is fantastic. And the little vocal shots are totally choice too. Like I love that little laughing. It totally suits the track, man. You did a great job, dude. It's a bossa beat. Yeah, sweet. Okay, cool. Nice work. I don't even have anything real feedback for you. I was thinking maybe like there was a bit too much saturation on some of like the piano stuff. Like it sounds like you put it through some pretty aggressive lo-fi stuff, but I don't know. It doesn't sound bad. What are you using? I'm curious. Let the viewers know what you're using in terms of like your lo-fi plugins. I know that you got like the Wolf compressor and stuff like that. I imagine you probably use that on this track. But what else? Maybe is it RC20? That kind of thing. Cool. I'm gonna move on. Thanks a lot, Alex. That was sweet. Who'll be next? Mariano Neves. I can't remember. This might be Mariano's first challenge submission. I could be wrong. Sorry if I'm wrong about that, Mariano. I'm not sure if you're in the stream, but either way, really stoked to feature your track. Here we go. Yeah. Right on, man. Okay, so thank you so much, Mariano. That was fantastic. I believe Mariano is Liberectro music. And he says, yes, that's my first challenge submission. Fantastic. I'm so stoked to feature your music. And you've been in the Academy for a long time. So, yeah, great to finally be able to feature your music on a stream here. You sent me some notes about this track here, I believe. Let me pull these up. What'd you say? It all started with a somewhat uplifting chord progression and a house-ish 4-on-the-floor beat to set the overall happy vibe. From there, it came a little bit of experimentation to come up with a piano melody, and that both fits the vibe and the chord progression, trying to bring up the energy of the track as the track moves forward. Then it was sound selection, layering to make the track fuller, more compelling, adding, for example, a second melody to be placed back in the mix, then the arrangement and transition effects to complete the track, and finally mixing and mastering. I have a few thoughts. First of all, excuse me. First of all, I wanted to say, compliment you on the super creative chopping up of the vocals. I really, really liked that. I think that was my favorite part of the track. The vocal chops sounded super cool. Really, really melodic, and yeah, just breathed a whole lot of energy and creativity into the track. I love the house vibes. It's funny because I was listening to a bunch of like Calvin Harris yesterday, and it kind of like, yeah, it brought me back to that kind of just like feel good house music vibes. Remind me of that. I think that if I was gonna focus on one thing to give you some feedback about this track, it would be that I thought that maybe the one thing that was like sort of missing was like maybe kind of like sort of typical like EDM style build up, like with like a big drop. The energy is pretty constant and flowing throughout the track. I know that there is some points where it dips down, but I was thinking it would be cool. This type of track would be cool to kind of have that like slow building, like riser, snare starting on the quarter notes, then 8th, then 16th, that kind of thing. And then like doing a big drop release. I think that something like that would suit this track. It would suit the genre, and it would, probably make it more licensable in the sense of just like having that kind of like, big transition for like video editing. So just a thought there. My other one feedback thing that I was thinking of, and I don't know if this is fair. You guys might disagree. Let me know in the comments, but I just thought for some reason, like intuitively, my gut was saying that it could be like tempo could be a little bit faster. It was just like it doesn't feel super like slow or sluggish, but what's going on with my throat here? I felt like it could have gotten away with being like a bit more up tempo. That's just my 2 cents. But yeah, I don't know what you guys think. But anyway, Mariano left me with some other important information here. Didn't use a reference track, neither for composing or arranging, nor to compare with my mix. Just kind of went with his ears. Very cool. Regarding sample libraries and VSTs, made extensive use of Serum and for the plucks and the synths. Several layers for each. The piano is the giant from the Contact library. Vocals and transition effects are they're part of your collection on your hard drive. I don't believe that Mariano uses Splice. So yeah, good job. Where do you get your those cool vocal chops from? Love to know the story behind those. Stock plugins only from his DAW, with the exception of a few CLA Epic from Waves for reverb and delay. Renaissance bass from Waves. I'm losing my voice here. Slate Digital Fresh Air as an exciter. FabFilter Pro L2 on the limiter. And Brainworks as a stereo imager. Cool. Very cool. Great job, man. Thank you so much. I'm stoked to be able to feature your track today. Who is next? We got 3 more. Let me just check the comments, make sure it was acceptable in the 80s. Okay. What was acceptable in the 80s? Oh man, that was it. It was a great track, dude. It was awesome. Damian, you're next here. Oh, got some tempo information. Okay, this track is cool. Yeah, I just remembering what track this is. Very, very, very cool. Check this one out. Speaking of acceptable in the 80s, that track is so cool, man. I love that. I love it. I don't think Damian sent me that much information about the like what he was using in terms of like instruments, VSTs and stuff like that. But I gotta know what you're using for the synths, especially that like sweet low bass line. That song is called BMX Summer. Totally nailed the challenge. He sent me a little note here. I challenged myself to write a song as if I were writing it in the 80s. Oh, sorry. He did say a couple things about what he's using. One Juno synth for the most of the parts. In my case, it's the Soft Tube Model 84. I have to check that one out. A Moog, or a Moog, Reactor Monarch, which used for the kick drum and main melody line. And one drum machine. Slightly cheated here by using a sampler loaded with 808 samples, but close enough. Anyway, I gotta say it was liberating to not have so many choices to write a song with. I liked it so much that I think I'm gonna write an entire album worth of this style of track and make it an artlist submission. Heck yeah, man. Go for it. I loved it. I really, really enjoyed it. It's like, I'm obsessed with 80s music. I love the 80s, and the breakdown that you have like at about a minute in, just like with all that synth and pad energy. Like that part is that's pure vibe, man. It's so cool. It's like this track is like Stranger Things meets synthwave meets Tears for Fears or something. I don't know. Sorry if that's maybe I don't know. Maybe that's not right. You guys, let me know what does this track remind you of? Let me know in the comments. I just think it's awesome, man. You did a really great job. That slinky bass line is so good. I want that exact patch, and I want to use it in my own tracks. I need to know exactly what that patch is. Fantastic work, Damian. Always a pleasure. And I'm glad you had fun writing that track, dude. Sweet. Okay, we only got a couple more. Who is next? We got Louie and Paul Marsh. Let's do Paul's. Here we go. Nice. Got some sirens in the background. Paul, that was fantastic. Paul sent me a few notes here. He says, I used the corporate template from your course for this one. Although you can clearly hear the corporate style instrumentation, it didn't turn out as soft as a lot of the corporate music I hear. The track almost has a rock feel to it. Yeah, totally. So I wasn't too critical. I just kind of went with whatever felt inspiring and had some fun with it. Dude, yeah, I mean, I love the corporate meets rock vibe. Really nailed it. Oh, there's a few other notes here. Well, I'll just tell you what I thought about it first here. I think this is another great example of sort of like really simple ideas being executed well. Like, for example, in this chorus, just like that simple, like the melodic ideas you're using, that simple descending melody, like repeating, is just so effective. It's like, it doesn't have to be this grandiose thing. It's just simplicity, you know, like this, that's what works. Like that just feels good. It feels good, you know. It's not too. It's gonna work well as sync music because it's just like, it's just vibey. It's gonna sit well in the background. It doesn't have to be some, you know, like these type of tracks. They don't have to be like, what's the word I'm looking for? Some like virtuosic kind of, you know, thing. So I think you just nailed the simplistic corporate energy, which is, you know, it's what I say for corporate music. You just got to keep it simple. Yeah, good mix. I don't really have like much critical feedback for you. I suspect that there might be like some room to carve out some maybe some like resonance in the pad instruments or whatever, like synth or pad VST you're using. There's a lot of ambient sort of energy in the mix. Potentially, you know, you could carve some things out here to add a little bit more clarity. To manage that a bit, but yeah, it might be an EQ adjustment or like a volume adjustment or the reverb adjustment. I don't know. It's hard to say without like looking at the stems. But not that it's a muddy mix by any means. It's a great mix.
There is just a lot of ambient energy that I don't know. I don't know if like I'd even say that it sounds. I don't know. I'm vibing on it. Yeah, I'm not gonna criticize you. Paul also wrote, I got some good results blending my live guitar with the sampled ones. Awesome. Doubling the lead guitar melody with the sunburst gave me a nice thick sound. Very cool. He said, I just watched your video of blending sampled and real guitars the other night. I did try to humanize the strummed acoustic guitar to the max instead of halfway, but it really messed with the other parts of the high frequency range, like the shakers and the hats and that percussive stuff. Yeah, that's a thing. That's a thing. And yeah, if you get like some, because like with those acoustic guitars, you get that really like that strummy sort of like thing that pokes up on the high end. And if that is not, if that's like, humanized and it's like a little bit, it's wavering, then you might get like some weird flams if you're combining that with some other percussive stuff. So definitely something to be aware of. Amazing. Thank you, Paul. Always great to feature your music, man. You're always killing these challenges. I love it. Louie is next. Last but not least, Louie. Let's check it out. Catching up with the old comments. Art's in the house. Welcome, Art. Glad to see you here again, man. And glad to see that you're alive and well. Awesome. Mariano says, amazing corporate vibe. Sounds current also. Totally. Okay, cool. Let's check out this track from Louie. Damn. Louie just killing it with these orchestral arrangements. Man, always such a pleasure to feature your music for these challenges. I did ask Louie if he could give me some insight on what he was using here. And brass and woods, BBC Symphony Orchestra, percussion, dramatic crater percussion. I'm not sure what that's from. Tina Guo cello, I'm assuming for the solo cello. Memoir piano. I'm not actually familiar with that one either. And for the choir, it was from Nucleus. Louie just mentioned that I figured hope is only needed when there is some adversity, so the song builds towards hopeful. Okay, very cool thoughts. to share there. Louie, it's always just like so cool to hear what kind of work you're doing with these arrangements. I especially love like the low woodwinds building up to this like climax. Very, very, very cool. You don't hear woodwinds get used enough in that way, I find. Some really nice melodies, some like beautiful counter melodies. I love the piano tone in the intro as well. It really makes for a nice intro. I think you nailed the challenge. Absolutely. It's uplifting. It's positive. It feels very motivational to me. So like definitely like super licensable. Yeah, the orchestral arrangements are gorgeous, and yeah, I love it, man. I love it. I think the one suggestion that I have that's very, very minimal is like maybe you could use the staccato strings, the short strings, in a higher register for when you're like hitting this climactic section. Like maybe you bring it up an octave there. I just thought that listening to it last minute here, that it would maybe add to like an uplifting, like it would just help uplift the energy even further. Not that you needed to, because it like the dynamics are huge. I love that it just feels so powerful in the climax. But yeah, I just thought that was like one thing, you can maybe use like the short strings in like a nice high register. But yeah, just my 2 cents there. I don't know if that would end up just, maybe you tried that and it fought with the choir or something like that, but it might have been cool to try. But as always, man, great work, and so cool to hear what you're up to lately. Okay, man, I hope I didn't miss anybody. I'm always paranoid that I'm going to miss somebody. I would feel terrible if I did. If I did, just yell at me in the comments. And in the meantime, I'm going to check out my super positive corporate track here. This isn't finished. I hate showing my work before it's finished. This is like pre-mix, but I did throw a little bit of I threw some compression and a few mastering plugins just so it would sound a little bit more acceptable. But yeah, this is something I worked on for the challenge. Ran out of time before today, unfortunately. It's been crazy busy, which is good. It's all good stuff. But yeah, my life has been hectic. But I'm happy to show this to you, and this is my next master plan for Motion Array. I'm going to submit this near the end of the month so that it gets approved and it's live on the library for the beginning of September. Something I've been noticing is that like the downloads are much more active, and at the beginning of the month. I think it feels like people are more active on Motion Array at the beginning of the month. They're getting all their music, and then it kind of dips down towards the end. So I'm going to try to time this properly, and hoping that it will it'll become a corporate bestseller. Here it goes. So definitely some edges to smooth out there. Some, a few little awkward things here and there that need to be smoothed out. I gotta work on these transitions, and I dive deep into the details here. And this I would say is probably like 75% of the way there. Definitely got to do some carving, but the vibe is there. The vibe is right. And the ideas are again, I try to keep them dead simple. I really do. And I have high hopes for this track. I think it'll do well in the corporate vein. It's actually been a while since I've written anything that was corporate. And it came together pretty quickly. And as you can see, the session is kind of a mess, at least for my standards. I usually have things like grouped and colored and all that kind of thing. This is kind of me, 3/4 of the way through the process, just kind of throwing ideas at the wall and seeing what works. But the basic vibe is there. Alexander says definitely should be a bestseller. I hope so. Best example of positive corporate upbeat track. Thanks, dude. Thanks, Alex. You guys are awesome. Thanks, Guzer, Mariano. Art, I really appreciate it, guys. I hate, it always kind of makes me cringe to show stuff before it's finished, but what the heck. I ran out of time. Alex says, did you play the guitar or is that VST? It's both. I played this guitar here. Unfortunately, that's the only real guitar in the track. That's me playing electric. And then, in terms of the guitar work, you have a bunch of things going on here. Got some strums from strummed acoustic, 12-string, I think. And then finger-picked acoustic. Firebird mutes. Then I also have these guitar plucks. And then there's also a Sunburst electric guitar VST going on here. And that's pretty much the guitar work. Again, it's going to take a little bit of carving, but it'll get there. And when I do finish it, I will absolutely open up that session to the Academy members. I'll do a little breakdown. You nailed it with this one, man. Love it. Oh, thanks. Thank you, Empire One. Sweet. Well, thanks so much for watching, guys. Really had fun on this one. And as always, you guys everyone who submitted a track for this one just absolutely killed it. I'm so happy to have all of the members in the Academy. It really is a blessing to have you there. I'm having so much fun just listening to the music that you guys are sending me for these submissions, for track feedback as well. You guys are just making my day. It's mind-blowing, totally mind-blowing. And I'm having a great summer over here. And I thought, with all the craziness that's happening in this world, it is nice to just get into some positive vibe music. Music is, it's what inspires me. It makes me feel good. It's my therapy. And sometimes it's good to just listen to, positive, uplifting music, especially if you're having a bad day or if things aren't going right in your life. And the benefit of this music is, of course, that it is, licensable. It's well suited to music libraries, to the licensing space, and by all means, write sad, emotional music. There's a place for it, or dark, brooding music. There's a place for that too. But I think that you'll find that if you're trying to get into the music library game, make sure to try your hand at some positive, uplifting material. It definitely tends to do well on the music libraries. So I'll leave it at that. I'll end on that note. And great work, everyone. Really appreciate you all. Thanks for joining today. And check out productionmusicacademy.com if you're interested in leveling up your production chops and being a part of this amazing community. Again, just absolutely fantastic to showcase everyone's work today. And to all my YouTube viewers and supporters out there, thank you. Love you all. I will see you next time. Take care. Bye.